All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Frantic Talks podcast, episode 70. I am your host, Frantic. With me, as always, is my lovely co-host,
Grunt. Hello, everyone.
Hello everyone. We are here to talk about gaming
And junk.
and junk. All right, guys. So we got some fun stuff to talk about today, including a little bit of an in-depth discussion around what makes the gamer hardcore versus maybe not so hardcore, and it's a little different than you might think. Kind of stealing words there, but we'll get there.
You're a casual scrub.
It varies, but we'll get to that. Let's start off with our normal, where you can find us to continue this discussion. Give us your thoughts on the process, and also follow us to get all the updated details. Let's start off with Twitter. I am at FranticJ3. He is at Onyx Spartan, ONYX Spartan, all one word, and we are at Frantic_Talks, the official Frantic Talks Twitter account. So you can follow that. You'll get all the tweets related to when we go live, when we post an article, or when we post the podcast. That's roughly what you'll get from there. Also, follow our special podcast Ghost Freak Show at Freak Show 187. He likes puns. He also will talk to you probably forever about wrestling if you're kind of into that thing. If not, it's okay. Give him a follow anyways. He always has some fun stuff to talk about. You can head over and catch this show live every Saturday, usually at 3 p.m. Eastern, usually on twitch.tv/Frantic Talks, all one word. Now, we say usually, and today is a good example of it, because sometimes we don't always go live at that time. It's actually roughly 1:15 p.m. Eastern on Saturday that we're doing this live. Just schedules happen, that's life for you. But anyways, if you head over there, like I said, we'll be live, and you can join in on the discussion like so many have in the past, and you can always add in your own little thoughts, and you definitely will get a shout out if you're saying, hey, what's up, or, correcting us on our facts. Anyways, if you can't catch the show live, maybe you missed it. Of course, the show will be posted on every Monday after we record, but if you want early access, head to YouTube. If you go over to youtube.com, search up Frantic Talks, and hit subscribe, you will be able to have access to the Frantic Talks podcast roughly an hour afterwards. My God, that bird, I want to kick it. It's like out your window.
I don't know where it's coming from. Somewhere. I'll have to have a talk with it.
Needs to stop having sex because it's really loud.
All right, wow, okay.
Our daily dose of avian fornication. Anyways, YouTube, if you subscribe and we get around 100 subscribers, we can give out a link that's a lot better than the one we currently have. And, you'll get access to the podcast roughly an hour after we go live in the video form, exactly as it is and that we shoot it, unless any editing needs to happen, which normally doesn't happen, but sometimes I need to cut out birds from the video. So, that's what's going to be over there. Now, there was their Sunday show, which I'm kind of renaming for now as the music show. That's where I talk about metal music mostly. But I've kind of gone broader and talked about, I rock the fuck out for 5 to 7 minutes.
Right.
No, but I tend to talk about a lot of music related stuff, not just that, kind of like stuff around it. Not music theory, but like an example is religion and music and my opinions on that process. Well, not process.
I just want to say, what on earth was Gene Simmons thinking of trying to copyright the rock horns?
I don't know what he was thinking. Oh, actually, he wants money because that's Gene Simmons for you.
Right.
But anyways, if you want to follow us on Facebook, over at facebook.com/Frantic Talks, all one word. Hit that like button like 134 other people have done. You will get a more Facebook form of Twitter is the best way to put that. We post our articles, our podcasts, over there, and you can share them with all your friends and discuss with friends, relatives, and all that great stuff. If all else fails, head over to frantictalks.com. That is where we are. All that information will be in the footer. That's where you'll find all our articles and podcasts in this order. Every Monday you get a podcast. Every Wednesday you get a weekly column written by either me, Grunt, or Freak Show. And every Friday you get the Chronicles of All, which is Freak Show's series where he simulates a month in this wrestling simulator game and gives you the details on the storylines he's created, along with some of the in-game dialogue that he has written himself. It's a really fun read. I've been enjoying it. I think he's done about 6 or 7 of them now, and he does it every Friday. I can guarantee that you'll probably enjoy it. Even if you don't like wrestling, I think you can still give it a read and see if it's something you're interested in, because it's more about the storylines than the actual wrestlers, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a really fun one. Also, magic.frantictalks.com. I'm actually working on an article to post on there since we haven't had anything on there in a little while. So hopefully that'll get the ball rolling again there. And if all else fails, if you can't seem to find us, none of that worked. You typed it in wrong, maybe. Who knows what happened? 110 times out of 10. Grunt, what can they do?
Direct yourself to your nearest search engine and just search Frantic Talks. You'll find us.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
I can guarantee that commercial. I forget who that is. But... All right, so let's start this off. Oh, what?
We have a Discord server that you can join.
Yeah, I almost forgot that. We just opened up our Discord server. Now, I don't have like specific details. I think there's a code I could give you at the moment, but the best way to do it is to go to twitter.com/frantic_talks. It is our pinned tweet. You click that link, you'll be able to join in. Like, I think 5 or 6 people already jumped in there, and we've been kind of messaging back and forth. You can just post whatever you want in there, honestly. We have 2 channels, the general and the magic channel. So if you ever have any magic stuff, you can throw it in there, along with voice channels if you guys want to hop in and have a community get together and jump in and play like a game night or something, whatever. It is open to anybody who likes Frantic Talks. So you can jump in there. Like I said, I think we'll probably find an easier way to give that to you, because I think I can just give you the code number, but I'm not going to spend time doing that right now.
Right.
But join in. You can talk to us whenever you want, instead of having to go through the character limit on like Twitter or something. Post an article that you want us to talk about. You can join in there when we go live, or you can join us on Twitch. Doesn't matter. Go for it. Give us feedback on an article. Doesn't matter. Absolutely would love to have you in there. So now that's out of the way. Anything else I forgot before we?
I don't think so. I think you covered it all. It seems like every so many episodes we add another way to get a hold of us.
I know. I mean, the opening now is taking it's 6.5 minutes into their episode, but normally it takes around 5 minutes to go through all that detail. I feel like there's got to be a quick.
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead.
We'll figure it out by episode 100. I know we will.
Yeah, I feel like yeah.
Where we just ramble on for like 2 hours. The history of Frantic Talks, this topic, that topic.
The Frantic Talks special. I mean, there's already a history article that I posted where we talked about our changes, and it kind of goes through everything that Frantic Talks has been. But now where we're at now, where we do these weekly columns and the Chronicles of All, and along with the podcast on a Monday being posted with the podcast recording Saturday. I mean, it's in a nice groove now, because we kind of have it set and we know stuff should be done, and we don't put it off just because it's like, oh, I'll get to it. It's like, oh, we need to do this. But it actually helps, I feel like. So.
Oh, yeah. Which I need to do an article by Wednesday.
Yeah. Sometimes it'll happen where we don't get to that, but whatever. All right. Well, enough rambling. Let's start this off like we normally do by asking one very simple question. Grunt, how was your week?
Busy. I was gone for most of the week, doing various odd-end errands. On Wednesday, I put a Mustang GT on layaway. All I'm going to say about that, take your guesses as to what you think that could be. I mean, I'm pretty sure you know, Frantic. You don't count because you know.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's fair.
I mean, you can guess if you want. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about or not, but...
I mean, I guess I'll openly say I don't actually know what that means, but I have a very good guess, but I will not guess. I will let other people come to that conclusion.
Good.
I'll ask you after the podcast where it's not on record.
Where it's not on record. All right. Did that on Wednesday. Really excited about that.
I don't blame you. I suppose it's a Mustang.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. What else? Game-wise, I spent most of my game time this week playing Payday 2 with Freak Show and AC Hunter. It's a fun game. I like it. I got it through the 14-day free trial for Xbox Games Pass, which is worth it. But right now, I cannot justify $10 a month for it, given my given certain things. Mm-hmm. So it's worth it, I think, but it all depends too on how often do they update games, remove old ones, all that stuff.
Yeah, and I'll talk about that too, because I agree with you.
Played a little bit of the other game I played before I move on to that. The other game I played was Farming Simulator 15. I'm not proud of myself.
Just so you know, 2015, not the 15th installment, right? Or is it actually 15?
It says 15, but I'm pretty sure it means 2015.
Okay.
So take it as you will. It's either it came out in 2015 or it's the 15th installment, which is probably possible.
With all these simulator games that are simulating stuff that doesn't sound entertaining, like Euro Truck Simulator, Farming Simulator, Surgeon Simulator doesn't count, but there's a couple of simulators out there that I think there's even like a job simulator that's really funny. Something that I kind of secretly love about them is the stuff in the game that I'm not necessarily sure of. It teaches you how to do it. Like it doesn't it doesn't necessarily give you a step-by-step process per se, but I'm pretty sure it
Right.
teaches you some stuff that was kind of commonly known back in the day, but now with technology and everything, we can, like in Farming Simulator, I'm pretty sure it teaches you how to like plant and till and stuff like that.
It does do the tutorial, which I did not.
Right. So if you do this tutorial, you can learn so much about stuff we figured out ages ago that seemingly most of us forgotten if we aren't directly involved with it.
Right.
So I really appreciate that, and I'll talk more about that here in a minute.
Right. I'm enjoying it way more than I should be, honestly. Granted, it's probably partially due to the fact that for like an hour when I first started playing the game with Freak Show, him and I just sat there trying to hit each other and cause destruction with the tractors that we were given. So that's probably the reason why.
I guess that's fair.
Did not know that you could pick up another smaller tractor with a corn harvesting head on a combine, like a forklift. But apparently you can in that game.
I mean, I guess how accurate the physics engine is, but hey, we
yeah, it's not something I would do in the real world.
It's not.
Yes, but those are played a little bit of Destiny here and there. Mainly just did some reset stuff on like Tuesday or Wednesday. Most of my game time though has been Farming Simulator and Payday 2. Other games I have played, not video games. Friday night, last night, I played a couple of head-to-head EDH games with my dad. He built a new commander deck to use tonight because we're having a few people over to play some games.
Nice.
And he wanted to take it for a spin. Unfortunately, he got the mana screw in a couple games, so I felt bad for that because I know how that is.
Yeah, it's never fun.
But yeah, that was fun. I got to use his Atraxa deck once. That thing can get crazy quickly if you do not.
Yeah.
If you do not contain the counters quickly. So
yeah, Atraxa gets out of hand if you leave it alone for a turn.
Yeah.
Because the moment it gets one thing going, everything cascades quickly, and it's like, how do I deal with that?
Yes, and if I wouldn't have finished killing him in the one turn, I was about ready to play a creature card. I don't remember the name of it. That basically, whenever you put a counter on something, you double that counter. It's like, oh my god.
Yup, I think there's 2 cards in that deck that do that. If it's the pre-constructed one.
Yeah, it was. So
yeah.
It's pretty insane. I liked it. It was a little slow to build up for me, I thought, because I like to get creatures out there quickly, but it was definitely worth it when just in like 2 turns I had a 6/6, a 4/4, and a couple of other large creatures out there, and it's like, good lord.
Yeah, when you're every color but red, you're probably gonna have the slowest of all.
Right.
Because red's the fastest.
Right. Yeah. So that's pretty much how my week has been. Busy and playing a few games here and there, twiddling around on my guitar.
Okay.
How was your week?
Well, I had a fun week. I actually played a lot of the same games you did, minus Farming Simulator, because Freak Show had been playing it with AC Hunter all week. He'd been playing Payday 2, that is. I'd played Payday 2 on my desktop with my good friend Chris, who I play a lot of desktop games with. He and I tend to play that a lot. Well, we used to. Not as much anymore. But I did a little bit of solo stealthing in it because I was trying to be fun at that, or really good at that, and I hadn't played it in like a year or 2. Right. So when I finally got on and was playing with Freak Show and you guys, it was like, oh, we're kind of doing the exact opposite of my play style on this game. Which is fine. It was just not what I was prepared for. And then the other times I played where you weren't there, we were just cooking a lot of meth, and that, not gonna lie, kind of got boring kind of quick. But we did make a lot of money. I have like $4 million I need to spend.
Good lord.
Yeah, and I'm already level 53.
Good lord, that's even more insane.
Yeah, and like I think we've played 3 or 4 hours total, and I'm at level 53. Kind of like my Borderlands experience, where I never played it for the first time I ever played it. I obviously hadn't played it, and I had friends who were like in the 40s or 50s, so they just power leveled me, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with all this, so I stopped playing.
Right.
Now it helps a little bit with Payday 2 that I've actually gotten to play, like started from the bottom, now I'm here type of thing, where I've played it with nothing and gotten to build it up. So it's just like, yeah, just put me in with the best stuff and let's get going. But
right.
Other than that, though, played a little bit of Destiny, did some reset stuff, and playing a little bit more Red Dead Redemption. I'm really enjoying the crap out of it, and hopefully we'll have it done by the time the second game comes out here in closer in December and somewhere around that realm. I don't know if we ever got an actual date on that.
I'm not sure.
I also
Honestly.
released I don't know, but I released an article that talks about fun and competition. That's actually on screen right now. I'll scroll down so you can kind of read the synopsis while I'm talking here. But essentially, the idea is mixing fun and competition. Not necessarily like can it be done, but how I personally struggle with it, and maybe you do too. Now, while I don't offer a solution per se, I definitely kind of make the note that I'm going to try to do it more. There's a little more fun stuff to read in there, kind of like some examples of types of people I've come encountered with, along with links to other random stuff. All right, now the bird is a different type of bird, and it's doing its mating call, and I'm gonna buy a pellet gun for you and have it delivered to your doorstep, so we can get rid of it. Because this is getting unbearable. Anyways, there was also the previous podcast where we capped off E3. It was a little longer podcast compared to what this one will be, along with the Chronicles of Awe, which is kind of now, spoiler alert, the ACW. Go read it. I'm not going to spoil anything. But it's definitely a fun read, like I've said already. I'd definitely give that one a read as well. It's getting really interesting, and what Freak Show's doing has made it. He has me like really excited when I'm editing it to read everything that happens. So hopefully I'm speaking for everyone here then when I say go read it. But other than that, I had a little bit of a work event where it was kind of like the newbies, and I've been at my job for 6 or 7 months now, but they had the people who've been joining recently do this like cool like seminar type thing. We did a work dinner. And earlier today, I was up at 8 a.m. building a house. So
What?
Well, it's Habitat for Humanity. I don't know if they're local or national or something along those lines, but
I do believe it's national.
Okay, so we had like probably 100 or 200 people just like building segments of a house. We built a doorway and a window wall, essentially 2 walls in about 3 hours. I got this lovely band-aid on my finger because using the hammer caused me to essentially make a blister and substantially peel it off right afterwards. So I didn't realize I had it until I looked down and there was skin missing and my finger hurt. Oh, that's not good.
Or gloves.
Yeah, I should have brought gloves. You're right, but what I mean, what I wanted to talk about here briefly was with the simulators that you'd mentioned, along with me finally ever using a hammer and hitting a nail into a wood. Having never really done that, I learned a few things I didn't necessarily know about walls around me currently, and I'm not gonna lie, I'll say this on stream, and I'll probably get shit for this the rest of my life, but I always thought a stud was something in the drywall. I didn't realize it was the wood on the opposite side of the drywall. That's interesting. Didn't know that. So everyone who is really good at construction can now hate on me for the rest of your life and for the rest of my life because I don't know anything about construction. But I'll code circles around your ass, let me tell you.
I'd say that's a fair trade-off.
There's a data architect versus an actual architect. There's a difference.
There is a huge difference.
Yeah. Either way, though, like I said, it was honestly kind of fun. I really like making stuff, and I got to make these walls. And they actually put I had to get leaving so I could actually get here and do this podcast because we're doing it as soon as this podcast is over and heading out of town. But they were putting the house together while we were walls up and stuff. I just couldn't stay to see the final product. Obviously not painted or drywalled or insulated or anything. Structure of the architecture.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's basically been my week. I mapped out a new Magic deck. I've picked out the cards I have and need to go through my spares and pick out specific cards. I don't know where they're at. Also, I need a fun little deck that I actually tweeted about. So if you want to look at that, head over to my Twitter at FranticJ3 and check out one of my latest tweets about a EDH deck. You can look at that list. It's actually a really funny build, and I'm really excited for it because the playtesting it just gets stupid.
Interesting. I've been looking at building a new deck, so I might have to see what it contains.
It's a surprisingly cheap build, although I will say the more expensive cards I kind of already have. The pieces I need are just commons and uncommons and a couple of bulk rares. I feel like I won't spend more than $20 or $30 finishing. Like,
it's not bad at all.
Which
really?
Yeah, for EDH is great. I've built really good decks under 50. It's not too hard as long as you know cards that can be functional for the card that you want that's too expensive.
Right.
All right, so that about does it for my week. Let us know on Twitter. How's your guys' week's been? Join Discord. Let us know how your week's going. I don't care. Free shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't know why I just decided to go very blatantly rated R right there. All right, whatever. All right, so check out our articles that are coming out. Remember, podcast on Monday, weekly column on Wednesday, which should be Grunt this week, hopefully, and Chronicles of on Friday. If you want more articles, send us stuff to talk about. Maybe write an article. Who knows? Find out. But either way, keep the eye on the Magic the Gathering website because we're gonna post up. Hopefully, I'm gonna refine it and retune. Whenever I write something, I always read it once as I'm writing it, and then read it through 3 or 4 times before I finally say, okay, I'm satisfied. Really nitpicky about what I write. But anyways, rambling aside. No, Frank talk aside. Let's talk about some news pieces that are interesting. Starting with something I think we all either saw coming or called back in the day when this was first announced. So if you're familiar, or Call of Duty'd it, we have...
I see what you did there.
We have the Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered Standalone. You guys remember about this? Infinite Warfare was released probably October or November last year, right?
I think so. It's a newer game.
Yeah, I think it was back then. Well, anyways, they released it, and if you got like the special, super extra, mega chocolatey version, you got the Modern
Not
Warfare.
the $800 edition, though.
No, it was only like $80, I think. But you got Modern Warfare Remastered, the original Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered, just with updated graphics, sounds, and all the same stuff, essentially.
What you would expect from a remastered edition, basically, yeah.
Exactly. And you're essentially paying $20 for it, but you had to pay for the full Infinite Warfare game. Well, Infinite Warfare was, I think, the worst selling Call of Duty in recent memory. I don't know what it compares to, but it was almost a flop from what we understand. To the point of where it sent them all the way back to World War II. So, anyways, they're giving it a standalone release is the reason for all this backstory. The game didn't do so hot, and everyone wanted the Modern Warfare Remastered, and I think a lot of people were upset that it was only within Infinite Warfare Special Edition or whatever. I think it was actually called Infinite Edition. Well, now we're getting a standalone release, but we don't know when it's coming to anything except if you're on PlayStation 4, which is great news if you're on PlayStation 4, but if you're on Xbox or PC, which it will come to, we don't know when that'll be. So for anyone wondering, June 27th is actually when the remastered one will come to PlayStation 4, which is the day after this podcast goes live, right? No, or 2 days after.
A couple days, yeah.
Yeah, it is the 24th. Good job, me. So yeah, it'll come out this coming Tuesday, so you'll hear this podcast, and most likely it'll be out if you're on PlayStation. Otherwise, we don't know when PC or Xbox will. I don't know what's with the delay besides them preferring PlayStation platforms currently, which is pretty... if we're even calling it delayed.
They do have a partnership with Sony for the Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Series. Franchise? Franchise. It's not a series anymore, it's a franchise.
So anyways, that's happening. We kind of all... I remember when that first got announced, we were all like, that's really dumb. Why can't we just get the mastered version on a standalone? And it was because they clearly didn't think Infinite Warfare was going to do well. So they were like, oh, if we throw this on, people will pay buku bucks. And we use that as an excuse to keep doing Infinite Warfare related stuff. Well, that didn't happen. I know my friends bought it, and I really wanted to buy it because I was like, I want to play CoD4 with my friends like I did back in high school. Nostalgia, please. But I didn't end up
now you can. Or
yeah, now I can.
Able to, rather.
I have to buy a PlayStation 4 still. Yeah, I could do that.
Just wait for the eventual release of the Xbox One and PC versions.
Yeah, that's true. It's just not very many people I played with on Xbox. Like, we used to play on Xbox, but all my friends switched to PlayStation.
Oh, awkward.
A little bit. But anyways, that's one piece of news. The next piece is about a game I have mixed feelings about. Been on record having mixed feelings about. It's on the up and around. Grunt.
Can I guess?
Yeah, go for it.
PokemonGo.
Yes, PokemonGo. PokemonGo is in the news because it has an update that's rolled out that revamps gyms pretty significantly. If you aren't familiar with how Pokemon gyms worked back, from the beginning till now, they were essentially, your team took it over and you leveled it up, and you could have, like, I think a max of 10 Pokemon. Doesn't matter what Pokemon, doesn't matter what their level, you just kind of throw it on there. And then other people would take it down by just kind of consistent battling and knocking your levels down. And that's how you trade it off on gyms. Now they're changing it a little bit. Well, not a little bit, a lot of it. Basically, they're only allowed to have 6 Pokemon on the gym now. the Pokemon have to all be different. So, for instance, you can't have 3 Vaporeons or 2 Vaporeons. You can only have 1 Vaporeon, which is one of the top tier Pokemon. You can only have one of those on there. So in the screenshot they have on screen right now, it's like a Tyranitar and a Pikachu and a Charizard. So it's diversity, of course, and it's mainly because people were complaining of seeing the same 3 Pokemon on all the gyms. I'm included in that complaint because every time I went and looked at a gym, it was the same fucking 4 Pokemon for the 10 slots. Got old quick. Either way, they've changed that, and now they're tied into a morale system where if the gym is neglected, is the best way to put it, their level starts decreasing, actually, their CP level, because they're, unhappy or whatever. So I think this happens by being defeated a bunch. So if you don't go back to that gym regularly, say you just throw your Pokemon at it and want to sit on it, you have to actually go back to it. You can't just sit there. And also, they added raids. So a raid, it seems like, well, you're like, what's a raid? Basically, there's this really big fucking Pokemon. So if you don't know how the CP system works, the combat levels go up to around 3,000, 3,100. I've never seen anything over 3,200. I haven't even seen a 3,200, to be honest. There's this one Pokemon that you can join in on a team raid of like 5 or 6 people or 10, it doesn't matter. This Pokemon's like 20,000, or it's up there, it's huge. And the idea is to beat it, and you get lots of rewards. And you'll get notified if a raid's happening near you on your team. So that's really cool. People are already organizing raid teams and stuff in the Discord channel I follow for my area, which is really cool to see people getting together and being like, yeah, let's go beat this gym. There are people saying we're going to be raiding gyms in this city for the next like 6 hours. It's really cool to see that. So it's a nice little revamp to the system that a lot of people complained wasn't good. We still don't have trainer battles, though, which a lot of people are upset about. They said they were going to be trying to implement trading, if I'm not mistaken. Still not there. But we've gotten this gym revamp that seems to make it a little more interesting. Also, gyms are Pokestops now, too, so you get a little bit more resources from that. They used to not be. That's basically the update that they released here this past week or whatever. It just recently happened. So far, I've heard pretty decent stuff about it. I mean, they still have the problem of cheaters who spoof PS and all that, but for the most part, it seems like they're making good changes that you say it should have been there probably a year ago when it came out.
Right.
But whatever.
Today I learned that Pokemon have morale.
Well, they didn't until now. But in the games, though, to be fair, there was a friendship system. The more they walked around with you, the more they leveled up. The more they didn't, like, if you didn't let them faint, the more they liked you. The more that they fainted, the more that, well, it was actually just that. The more they fainted, like, if they just kept fainting, not the only way I can think of doing it, they started to resent you more. And there are actual moves in the game that actually go with that. Return and frustration. Return, if you max out their friendship, deals a lot of damage. If you make the Pokemon resent you a bunch, frustration will deal a lot of damage.
Interesting.
I want to say that's been there since Gen 2. I know friendship evolutions existed in Gen. I want to say that should have been there.
Interesting.
So that's the thing too. Yeah. All right. So that wraps everything about Pokemon Go. I just wanted to mention that if anyone listening still plays, I mean, I know I've talked really bad about it because, I mean, rightfully so, it deserved it. And it's been making improvements to the point where you can actually do stuff with it. The glitches are seemingly gone and all that great stuff. The stuff that everyone was mad about, including me, is pretty much gone. Now it's just a matter of the end game actually making. And they're getting there, I suppose. So
slowly but surely.
All right, so the other thing that we have to talk about, I should probably open up the actual website here, and this is this week at Bungie update. More so talking about the final dates of in Destiny Year 1 events. I'll let Grunt take it.
So yes, events like Iron Banner and Trials will be coming to an end eventually. So for some of that stuff, you will need, if you're working on getting your rank 7 shirt discount code offer thing from the Age of Triumph book, you have until August 1st to do that. But in this week at Bungie, they released a brief little schedule as to when everything will be going up and all that until they host the last Iron Banner and Trials for Destiny 1. I'll quickly run through that. On July 4th, there will be Iron Banner. The weekly feature raid for the week of July 4th will also be King's Fall. On July 11th, Wrath of the Machine will be the featured raid. July 18th, Crota's End. July 18th, Daybreak Month begins, which they will be running, I believe they said for 6 weeks straight. The Nightfall will have Daybreak on all the time. So
100% sure that is what they said.
So yes, I'm very excited for that. So on July 18th, I know just to start guessing Daybreak every week whenever we post our predictions in our group chat now.
Yeah, that way we can't just try and call it anymore.
Right. July 25th, Vault of Glass will be the featured raid, and that takes us up to August 1st, where your Age of Triumph shirt offer expires. So get that done before then if you want one of the shirts.
Yes.
The final Destiny 1 era Iron Banner will be August 1st, and August 11th will signify the last weekend to do Trials of Osiris in Destiny 1.
So, mark your calendars. Pretty much every reset Tuesday is going to have something. I mean, it's going to be kind of more of the same, but on the 18th of July, we'll get Daybreak Month, and then August 1st, we'll have our very last Iron Banner. And then Iron Banana. And then August 11th is the end of Trials. Well, the last time we'll have Trials in Destiny 1. I don't know if that's coming to Destiny. I imagine it would, but...
yeah, I'm curious as to see what they'll do with that. With them refocusing the Crucible modes to 4v4, that could affect it, but it could also not, because most of the activities in current Crucible are 6v6, so we'll just have to wait and see, really.
Yeah, and I keep thinking about this, but we're almost out of June. We're literally a little over 2 months away from Destiny 2. That sounds like a long time, but I swear to God, we're going to blink and it'll be here. How fast things are moving.
Yes.
I know it was just April in my mind where we're like, I want to hear about Destiny 2, and now we're a month past the announcement and everything we knew about it. Like, dear God,
so close. It's just out of our grasp.
It is coming so fast. So I'm excited. I know Grunt's excited. I need to put my pre-order in so I can get in on the beta.
Now, about 3 weeks. 2 weeks to a month is the beta for Destiny 2.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting.
Super exciting. Hope to see you guys there. Join our Discord channel and let us know if you'll be there. I'll plan to get accordingly.
Right.
All right. So that's the last bit of news stuff that we had to talk about. And for the next roughly 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to talk about this interesting series of tweets from game design lead of Opaque Space, Jennifer, I don't know how to say her last name, Shirley? About the best way to put it. At GAOHME.
There you go. Just give the Twitter handle. That's the best way to avoid accidentally mispronouncing someone's name, even though you could totally mispronounce their Twitter handle.
Yeah, so she posted about something that, and Grunt brought this to my attention, and that's where we're talking about it. She posted this interesting little series of tweets here. It goes on for a little bit, and I'm going to read through it, and I'll probably do like a Cliff Notes type version. That way I'm not here just gambling in your ears. But anyway, so she says that a lot of people ask about a distinction between a casual and hardcore gamer, and being a game dev, they have an official definition for that. And I'm not surprised by this. Mark Rosewater has come out and said multiple times there are certain types of players we make cards for. They have this spectrum of characters, like Spike, Jimmy slash, or not, it was Johnny slash, what's her name? Jenny, I think. They have gender names for each gender. Timmy slash whatever. There's these different, and Spike and different characters who, one's competitive, one likes this, one likes that. But anyways, so she goes on to say, first off, a disclaimer that is probably not how you're going to think of it. So here's her answer professionally, from the professional standpoint. So types of gamers are a spectrum, not a spectrum of passion or good to bad, but the amount of engagement. She goes on to talk about what this engagement means. Basically, to note, it's not per platform, or by any means. It's the classification on a level of engagement within the community and how much they kind of play the game in general. not limited to any platform. So there's your newbies, your casuals, your core, your hardcore, your midcore, etc., etc. And this she kind of goes on to define as casual gamers. You're not less dedicated or passionate. It's just that they don't read everything that needs to be read about an IP. You know, a casual Destiny player isn't really invested in Bungie, isn't invested maybe in the lore of the game or anything like that per se. That's a specific example, but the idea is they aren't super into it as maybe Grunt and I are in related to certain things in Destiny.
Triple tap with Outlaw.
Yeah, like they wouldn't know. They probably wouldn't know the best perks that go with certain stuff or what really good perk mixture seems to be great. Either way, that's casual. And, she goes on to say hardcore and core gamers are more likely on the spectrum of engaging with the community. So something like going on Reddit and engaging in comment threads, having a Discord channel where they talk about the specific game. You'd kind of like how I mentioned earlier. I have a PokemonGo Discord channel that I joined into where it kind of I can talk to other people about what I've seen in my local area. Something like that, the casual gamer probably wouldn't be aware of. They'd probably just open up the game on their phone and be like, "Oh, something's in the area. Let me go get it."
Right.
And she says that no, this doesn't make them better at it by any means. So a hardcore gamer could be worse than a casual gamer. Just because you are super into something and understand the ins and outs of it doesn't make you any better at it. And that's kind of hard to explain if you think about it. But it's true. Someone could just be really good at a game when they pick it up.
Right.
And that's a corner case, of course, but it doesn't necessarily mean that a hardcore gamer is going to be better. Now, I'd argue more than likely they are, but not always. And she also says that core gamers, like your hardcore, your midcore, and just core, that you specifically want to target with your product. They engage with the IP, they help the forming of communities. So you typically want to target them pretty heavily because they already want to be involved with your game.
Right. They help spread the game. They help spread that the game actually exists in the first place because they're very interested and heavily involved into it.
Yes, exactly.
Relying on the old method of word of mouth.
And this next point is very important: is that they are not gatekeepers. Now, if you aren't really familiar with what a gatekeeper is, think of it this way. These guitars back behind me, essentially, I'm not going to say that they're expensive by any means, but someone who's a gatekeeper essentially plays guitar and looks at the guitars I have on the wall and says, "You're not a real guitarist if you play that Epiphone Explorer in the back left or back right, whatever it is on screen. You're not a real guitarist because you have Epiphone guitars, because those are known to be a little cheaper than your top of the line Gibson." That's what a gatekeeper is. They kind of tell you how you should be doing the hobby you're doing. So in gaming, it would be you're playing your character on Destiny wrong, or you're picking the wrong Pokemon to evolve. You should always go for the best EV level or whatever. Right. Stuff like that. That's gatekeeping, which is also pretty much a form of elitism. And she says that they aren't these people. Core gamers are not that. Now, hardcore people have a tendency to be this because they know so much and could define, or definitely say you should be using a gun that has these 3 perks because your gun currently doesn't have any synergy. The attitude is what defines that. So I'm not telling you you're shit. I'm just saying, oh, you could probably get a better gun than that, but hey, you do you is the right answer in my mind. But someone else could be saying, yo, get the fuck out of my party. You aren't using triple tap outlaw. It's like your differences are definitely
must have Gallahorn.
And you must have Gallahorn to do Crota, which it's a big help, but it isn't entirely required. It probably should, but
I don't know how many times I ran Crota before actually getting my beloved Gallahorn back in the day.
I mean, I got
Granted, I had either a Truth or a Hungry Crota at that point, so I was within the must have this, or this.
Yeah, he had tracking, so that helped.
Yeah.
Tremendously. So
yeah.
And then her kind of final point here is that all of these types of people exist. Storm is just having a field day in the game chat. By the way, I want you to know that if you don't have it open.
I don't have it open now.
Oh yeah, he's a casual. He's agreeing. He wants to know if she's goth, and he's claiming that we're being rude. Anyways.
Okay.
anyways, she basically says to have a healthy community and to have the community you want, you need all the above. You don't need one specific group. And while this is a lot to dissect, I think it kind of boils down to something rather simple. I'll get to that in a second. Her last tweet, she says, one last thing, there are no quote unquote non-gamers. Go away. It's her next sentence. Play is deeply ingrained in the human experience. We all intrinsically know play.
Right.
That last non-gamer.
I think what the point she's trying to make is the whole thing of like fake gamers. Like, oh, if you and I were to meet someone randomly and we'd be talking games and my neighbor's not mowing me. Okay, great. But if we were to meet someone just at random and start talking games to them, they'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm familiar with that game, and, they're not really into it.
Yeah.
And those people have been labeled as fake gamers. So, they try to basically act cool when they're not really playing it. And
it goes for the same, like, the fake nerds.
Right.
Those exist or whatever.
Right. And to be fair, if that is the point she's trying to make, I agree with it. Play is part of our personality as human beings. So, you're a gamer, whether or not you actually play video games or anything, because you play something.
I can agree with that too. I think I understand it now.
If that's the point. If not, then I have no idea.
I think that's the point. She brings up a lot of really interesting points here. Like I said, no, I'm not, Storm. I'm a real gamer. I'm not fake. So what I said it when I started. I mean, I'm used to the idea of a spectrum of people who play games, because Magic's kind of taught me that. There are cards that are clearly supposed to be hardcore guys who are trying to win all the time, and there's also cards for guys who want to put together this 18 card combo, and that's their payoff. There are cards for everyone to do that. So not necessarily that's something I understand, but maybe others might not. And the best way to put it is your idea of fun and my idea of fun might not be the same thing. And what's really interesting is I did bring this up very subtly in my article, where I'm kind of just talking about fun and competition, where it's like, I can't seem to mix it very well, and I'm not sure how to do it, but that doesn't mean, you can't.
Right.
Grunt, you're the fake gamer. He wasn't targeting that at me.
Oh.
Might need to go in the room next to you and go, like, pop him in the head or something. It's like, he's gonna hear that. He's probably gonna appear in the background here in a second. So, anyways, I think the most important takeaway here is that don't be elitist gatekeeping gaming hobby, but it also extends to every hobby, of course, as can be said for everything. To give a quick understanding of everything she just said, I think that's the best way to take it.
Right. It's also interesting. Let's try it again. Interesting to note that if you take and look at what just your average, gamer thinks of as a hardcore gamer, it's someone who is good at the game. Casual is someone who sucks. Maybe they shouldn't be playing the game. Hence why I called you a casual scrub jokingly at the start of this.
Right. Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that there are some similarities between the way like a developer would classify a core gamer and the way a normal gamer would classify a core gamer. Mm-hmm. It's interesting to see the similarities that are there between the two, but yet overall they classify them very differently from each other.
Yeah, and that it almost seems like they could be classified the same. Storm just said the equivalent of "do what you want" to the whole "come in there and pop him in the head." I'm kind of having two conversations at once right now.
This
is just really funny. No, but anyways, a lot of people could see it as blurring the lines, essentially. Like, what are you talking about? A casual isn't good at a game and isn't going to be better than me at the game. If you
Right.
thought that and you're listening, I want you to know in the nicest way possible you're an elitist. Because you could argue I'm a casual based on the amount of hours alone that I play Destiny in a week, maybe 4 or 5 at most. I feel like that's on a good week, and I don't know. I feel like I'm not terrible at the game. It's just if people seem to push this idea, at least in the places I visit, like Reddit and the forums, that being a casual is a bad thing. And we jokingly say to each other, you casual scrub, because we know that people sometimes really mean that, and we're just having fun, lighthearted fun. But I don't think gaming is the amount of hours you put in. Gaming is enjoying what you do and what you have.
Oh, yes.
And
Wholeheartedly agree.
because how I have fun is different than you have fun. And there's certain people, and I will say this and maybe regret it, but it's typically the younger age, because I was in the very shoes of these people who were like, I have fun doing this. How can you have fun doing it any other way? Now, I had this mindset with like music because I knew so much about music in high school. I was ahead of the curve, I would say. There were people who knew how much I did, but at the same time, there were a lot of people who were, I'm going to use a really funny term here. They were just plebs who didn't know anything. And I worship Dream Theater because they were just miles ahead of the curve, and that's how stupid I was back then. Because the reason that's stupid, if you aren't understanding why, is because the music they make might not be enjoyable by all. It's actually kind of proven it's not enjoyable by all, considering they have a lot less followers than someone like Ariana Grande or Katy Perry or something, and that's not because they need more exposure. That's just because the music they play isn't for everybody.
Right.
So
it's like listening to Black Snake Mamba death metal or whatever it was from several weeks ago. God,
I think it was it was Black Snake Marimba post metal or something like that.
God.
Oh jeez.
I want to know if there's actually a song I want to know if that genre even exists, first of all. And if it does, what does it sound like?
I mean, like, if we like dissect that, black metal,
Right,
really rough on the ears. Snakes are hissing, so we could probably insert that, or have some sort of overall droning type track along with marimba. Post metal tends to be longer, drawn out, repetitive songs, upwards of 10 to 12 to 15 minutes. So it's essentially just a tribal black metal song that lasts for way too long.
Boom. There we go.
So the difference between a casual gamer and a not so casual gamer,
we got off topic there by quite a bit. Good Lord.
Is that the hardcore gamer would be able, and kind of just swap gamer out, would be able to tell you what that genre is versus the other one just being like, that sounds like a ride. And based on how much they enjoy it is not dependent on if they're hardcore or casual. How much they enjoy it is just how. And the fact that someone tries to say you're not allowed to enjoy it or you aren't having fun enjoying it or you're doing it wrong, is stupid. And I hope that we can convey that message to anyone listening. Be more of a gatekeeper. Now, I'm not looking down upon that person. I'm not saying you are a terrible person. I'm just saying reevaluate how you think about things. Inherently, they are just pretentious, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree. You shouldn't be wanting to keep people out because of any reason, really. If they show interest in wanting to play something, then let them be that person that shows them what it's like.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Don't be a gatekeeper.
But also,
I'm just going to go around saying gatekeeper for the rest of the day now.
Well, there's a whole subreddit towards that, by the way. It's called gatekeeping. I actually have been subbed to it for a while because I just love seeing people being like there was one that was posted the other day. It was like, "Oh, bro, you don't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger at the gym. Have fun on your Father's Day, ladies," or something like that. It was just like, what the fuck?
What's that even mean?
That means that unless you look like Schwarzenegger, you're not allowed to be
I mean, I know what it means, but
for anyone who didn't, that's what they're saying. And it's like, either people share that sarcastically and think it's funny, And it's like, wow, people think this way. And then there's people who actually think that way. And that's just so stupid. And,
Right.
why? But, and I say this having been somebody who back in the day would have shared something like that if it would have been, like, the type of music I listened to.
Right.
So
I remember you writing a couple articles about metal and elitism
yeah.
back in ye olden day.
Yeah, in the old days of the Frantic Talk site, I've written 2 of them actually, and in each time I've tried to get across the point that metal elitism is one of the most elite. When I was an actual elitist in metal, when I was like 16, I realized I was stupid around 18 or 19. It's hard to describe, but having worn those shoes and understood the mindset of it and not liking the mindset, I understand where they're coming from, but it's right. It's not respectful. It's how you should conduct yourself, any man. And I think it boils down to a few factors that I have not scientifically proven or anything, but personally for me, I know why I was like that. But for the sake of not labeling everybody the same way,
Right.
I guess the main point that we're trying to say here, that a casual gamer, hardcore gamer, the only difference is the amount of engagement that they have with itself. One's not better than the other, per se. It all boils down to how much you enjoy. I'm a casual Red Dead Redemption. I don't know really anything about the game besides the guns I have. I don't think I ever will. That doesn't make me any less worse of the game. Doesn't mean I should have less fun than someone who looks every nook and cranny for Easter eggs. I mean, it just I can't think of the best way to put it, but the amount of fun you have shouldn't be defined by how long you've spent in the game or anything.
Right.
Hell, I'd even make an argument that the longer you spend in the game, the more you might have less fun, depending on how you're playing the game.
Oh, right. Definitely.
So, fun and competition, right there. How much time have I spent in Destiny and I was having fun with it? Exactly. So,
Boom.
games are about fun. Plain and simple. Now, there's a lot of different fun you can have, obviously, but I think that's the main takeaway before we ramble on for an hour.
I mean, we could easily go more in depth about this if we wanted to, but
very easily, and I could put out 100 different hypotheses why I think act the way they do, for the game they do. But for this podcast, I think it's you have fun playing games the way you have fun playing games. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yeah, I think that's takeaway from this. Don't be that person that doesn't expose people to something you enjoy because maybe they don't play it the same way you do. And just play to have fun, whatever your form of fun may be.
Exactly. That's bottom line. And if that means you got to disable the Rocket League quick chat, or you don't join a party with some people, or you mute your mic or something, so be it. As long as you have fun and other people don't agree, I think that's what's important. And even then, try not to let other people. Easier said than done, I think. All right.
So trash talking the AI in Rocket League is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, take your frustrations out on the AI if you can, because they can't fight back.
Oh, they will. They'll just run into you at full speed and blow you up. But
that's like gonna come back to bite me here in years when robots are sentient, fighting for robot rights, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well back in 2017, Frantic or Jordan, whatever people call me at that point, this motherfucker said take your frustration out on AI because they can't feel feelings." Like, yeah, you want to know what was said 50 years ago from 2017? Black people shouldn't have rights. Look how much that changed. Come on. Jesus. I'm sorry, that was just, I don't know why I thought of that. I was just take your frustration out on the AI and ignore me. And we should probably wrap this up so Grunt can get some sweet Thai chili chicken. Dad's writing stuff in the chat.
Okay. The 1 week I forget to pull up chat again.
And your dad's just having a conversation on the sidebar with me.
Right.
Jeez. Okay, so
right.
Let us know what you guys think. I know we kind of rambled in there, but I think we overall have a good message. Enjoy games and try not to be a person who gatekeeps. Gatekeeping is, honestly, I don't think it's ever a good, unless someone clearly doesn't enjoy something but is still trying to do it. Just tell them don't do that. I can't even think of a time where that would be. relative, but maybe it is, and I can't think of it. But either way,
Pick up the relic and destroy the gatekeeper. Oh wait,
do that.
You don't know how long I've been wanting to make that Destiny reference since you first said gatekeeper.
Hey, well, you managed to find a way to put it in, to be fair. So, all right. Anyways, guys, that about wraps everything up for us. Like I said, let us know what you think. Give us all your fun information. Let me run through everywhere you can find us to continue the conversation, so we can get all the opinions on board. Maybe you agreed with us, maybe you didn't agree with us on certain pieces of information we shared. Maybe you're excited about Call of Duty finally getting its Modern Warfare Remastered released separately, or maybe you're going to be sad when Iron Banana ends before the next for Destiny 2, or maybe Trials shouldn't end so early. I don't know. Whatever your feelings, opinions are, let us know by hitting us up first and foremost on Twitter. I am at FranticJ3. He is at Onyx Spartan, ONYX Spartan, all one word. Or you can hit up at Frantic_Talks if you want to hit up the official Frantic Talks account. Also, if you follow that account, you will get notified of when we go live for our podcast, whenever we post a podcast, or when we post an article, or just other random shenanigans. You can also hit up our special podcast host, Freak Show, at FreakShow187. He will do puns, puntify something, or he'll talk to you about wrestling, whatever you want, he'll do it. Well, I guess that's not necessarily true, but of the options I just gave, he'll do it. Also,
he'll do it all. Don't lie.
On the Frantic Talks Twitter page, our pinned tweet right at the current time is our Discord channel. If you want to join into our Discord chat and kind of talk about what we talked about today, maybe in a less Twitter format, so you can actually have an unlimited amount of characters. I think it's unlimited, I don't actually know, but should be more than enough room to talk about it in there. You can join in through there and talk to us whenever you want. I get notifications on my phone when you guys are posting in there, so you definitely will get to me, or Grunt, either way. Freak Show's there too. Got a couple other fun people like Brock, Murr, and our good new friend Ethos that we saw yesterday, or the last week or whatever. A good amount of good people in there to have some fun talking to. Also, twitch.tv/Frantic Talks. Every Saturday normally, at 3 p.m. Eastern normally, we go live with this podcast. Today was a little different. We went live around 1:15 Eastern. You can join in on the fun, join in on the conversation like Grunt Dad did this week, like many others have done in the past. Get a shout out, maybe throw in your 2 cents. Also, back check us if ever needed. It's always appreciated, of course, because, you know, I don't know everything just rambling off the top of my head. Or I imagine Grunt feels the same way.
It's true.
Yeah, we're not perfect. But either way, YouTube, if you go over to YouTube, you can catch the archive version of the podcast. Maybe you didn't see it live. Well, good news is that it goes up right after we're done recording. Usually it takes no more than an hour. I have pretty good internet. It'll go up on there. That way you don't have
Frantic. I have pretty good internet.
Most people have pretty good internet now, okay? No, but it goes up usually about an hour after the podcast, which is a lot earlier than the audio version, which you get on Mondays. So you get it 2 days in advance. So subscribe on YouTube. If we get 100 subscribers, we can throw out a link to everybody that you can use to share with your friends and all that fun stuff. It's just right now it's not the best. But you'll also get other videos, hopefully, here in the future. We've been a little stagnant on the video side. Summer is always a busy time for us, so take that what you will. Also, facebook.com/Frantic Talks, all one word. That is where you will find a more Facebook form of Twitter. Like the page, like 134 other people have so far. Get all the updates you need from there. If all else fails, head over to frantictalks.com, the mothership, where you can find all the stuff I just mentioned, along with the articles that we post, the podcasts that we post, in the order of podcasts on Mondays, weekly columns on Wednesday written by either me, Grunt, or Freak Show, and Fridays, the Chronicles of All, a weekly update for a month's worth of simulation in this wrestling simulator that Freak Show does. It talks about storylines. It's all good and fun. I think you'll like it. Go check that out. And also magic.frantictalks.com. Should be getting some more articles up on there here soon for your Magic the Gathering needs. If all else fails, if you can't find us, I think, you know, something didn't work. Internet disconnected. Who knows what it was? 110 times out of 10. Can't find us, Grunt. What can they do?
Direct yourself to your favorite search engine and just search Frantic Talks. You will find us. Guaranteed. Like Liam Neeson on Taken, guarantee.
Oh, yeah. It is that severe.
Right.
All right. That about does it for us, guys. Like I said, let us know. Join us on Discord. Have some fun talking to us. Throw out some random nonsense on there, too, if you want. Maybe we can team up and play PC games at some point. Who knows what'll happen. But that's on Twitter.
Ramble with us.
Ramble with us. That's a great way to put it. All right, I think that about does it. Let us know what you think. I'm very interested to hear your guys' thoughts. All else said, done. That's another episode on the wrap. So,
Finn.
Finn, you got anything else to add?
Nope.
All right, guys. I'm Frantic.
I'm Grunt.
I think we'll see you guys next time.